everyone. I'm Kaylee Marston, speech language pathologist here at Living Cancer Institute in the Department of Supportive Oncology. Today I'm bringing you another installment of the Cognitive Rehabilitation series. Today's focus is going to be talking about word finding difficulties and some strategies to use to help improve that. So when I say word finding, what I mean is our brain's ability to retrieve words quickly and efficiently within our speech. So we've all experienced, of course, a time or two where we know what we want to say, but the word's just not coming out. And you may hear someone say, "It's on the tip of my tongue." Sometimes just a few extra seconds and there comes the word. Other times it may even come to you later on in the day. Of course, factors like fatigue or stress, anxiety can impact our ability to find our words and effectively communicate our thoughts. Unfortunately, in oncology, cancer itself or cancer-related treatments can really exacerbate this problem. And so an example would be a brain tumor in the location of our brain that is responsible for storing our words would impact your brain's ability to store them, retrieve them, and say them. And chemotherapy has been shown to impact the neural networks that are also involved in pulling words and producing them when we want. So it's a very common complaint I hear in my clinic and something that we work on directly quite frequently. So I wanted to review some strategies that we focus on. The first is something that probably all of us use, but we may not be conscious of it, and that is just delay or taking a few extra seconds in order to give that word or your brain more of an opportunity to produce it. So think of it like a roadblock, and the word has to find another pathway, another route to get there. And that takes a little bit extra time, but it still can be done. Obviously, if it's taking too long, we tend to want to fill it in with other words, or where you just want to abandon what we were trying to say and say, never mind, I'll tell you later. Or the person you're talking to gets kind of confused because now there's a very long pause. So although we want to just give it a few extra seconds, you can't wait forever for a word. You have to move on to trying something else. The next step I usually teach is for patients to become more skilled at circumlocution. Circumlocution is a fancy way of saying describe or to talk in a circle around the word. So if I know that I'm trying to say the word apple, but it's just not coming out like that, I might say around fruit. That can be red or green. It can make juice, anything that is somewhat related to the word. Two things usually happen. One, the word itself then comes out because you're sort of talking near it in the way that your mind is organized. The second is, at the very least, the person you're talking to likely knows what you're trying to say, even if it's not the exact word that you want. And so we practice describing things and getting really good at that skill. Gesturing is another option, particularly when people are having a very hard time with getting their words out, but physically they still are very much intact and can use their hands more to either point to things or to literally show an item or something you're trying to say. Drawing is not as commonly used, but if you have pen and paper or pencil and paper and you can more easily draw what you're trying to talk about, of course that can be useful as well. It's just not something that we often have to do. And so instead I have to really encourage my patients to use anything and everything, which includes drawing, in order to communicate. Using synonyms can be useful as well. Synonyms, as you may remember from school age days, are words that mean the same thing or have similar meanings. So again, it may not be the exact target word that you were going for, but if it has a similar meaning, then again, the person you're talking to is likely going to understand what you're trying to say, and then you don't need to abandon your thought or give up on it. Looking things up, again, is maybe not something we do all the time, but now with technology very readily accessible, it can be useful to type in a few words or phrases in Google on your phone to see if the topic or the word you're trying to say comes up. This is even more useful when it's something maybe real specific that you're having a hard time describing, or maybe there's a picture support that would help get your point across. So I even have patients who I encourage to take more pictures. For instance, if they're going on a trip, I say, hey, take a lot of pictures, because when you come back and you describe it to me and we work on your word finding, we can pull up the pictures to kind of help support your speech and language. Lastly, something I really focus on in my clinic that is not a direct strategy but is just as important is self-advocacy. What I mean by that is when you are having more difficulty with communicating, particularly when this was maybe not really a problem prior to, say, a cancer diagnosis or cancer treatments, a lot of times people around you don't exactly know how to help you or what is going on. So you may have to say to them, right now I'm having trouble getting my words out as fast as I would like, and so you just need to give me a little extra time, or let me keep trying. You can even sort of figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So some people benefit from when you give them choices or you start to guess what they're trying to say. Other people don't like that and it doesn't help them. So we really role play and we figure out what is it that you need from those that you talk to the most in order to communicate your thoughts, your wants, your needs, because we want to make sure that person feels independent as they can with their communications, and since it's such an important part of our life. And so, that's just a key point as well. Again, as I quickly mentioned previously, stress, anxiety, even excitement at times, and fatigue, these things really also impact our ability to put words together or to communicate, the exact words that we want. And this is something that is easier said than done, but you really have to learn how to compensate for some of these things. So if you are experiencing a lot of stress and anxiety and it is worsened when your words are not coming out as you would like, you have to really try to not get in this vicious cycle of negative self-talk when it's happening, or saying, oh, why can't I think of this? This should be so easy. This is, I'm so stupid. Because actually that really doesn't help your brain pull the word out that you want. So it's not useful at all. We all do it from time to time, but it's very common feedback I have to give my patients so they can become more aware of it and try to lessen the instances of that, so that eventually they can, move past that and communicate effectively. Anyways, I hope some of these tips and information was useful either for yourself or to help support a loved one.
Thanks for watching. For more information, visit us online, send us an email, or give us a call. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are released. And most of all, be well.